Welcome to DOB Now Builds Mechanical Systems Overview. My name is Tamika Jackson, and I will be taking you through what you used to do on paper versus how you're going to be doing that in DOB Now Build. Because over the years, we're trying to get the project with all of the work types available in DOB Now Build. I'll help you understand what's still in biz for especially general construction when it comes to mechanical and structural. At first, we would go over what is DOB Now and lay the foundation of what we're hoping to achieve. I would speak about the features and benefits of using DOB Now, the roles and responsibilities of the people involved. Then later on, I'll actually complete a mechanical systems job filing, including the new equipment use permit or CUC. And then at the end, I'll tell you where you could find helpful materials such as step-by-step guides, manuals, and videos that could help you with completing a job filing. So any questions that you may have, and I haven't answered it in this presentation, you could email those questions to us. We will either get back to you or we will update our FAQs online or email those responses back to you. So at the first half of the session, you'd be able to describe DOB Now. I'll speak about the 4 modules in DOB Now, list the features and benefits of using it. I'm going to do an introduction to the industry portal. I'll simply just log in and surf the dashboard of where you actually create the files. So you would have an idea of what I'm talking about before I actually get into the heavy part of mechanical systems. And then I will discuss the biggest feature of using DOB Now, which is the job filing structures, keeping all the jobs together under one job number, where you have initial job filings, PA, and subsequents kept all together under the same location. Okay, so DOB Now. DOB Now is an interactive web-based portal that will enable owners, design professionals, filing representatives, and licensees to do business with DOB online. The biggest benefit of this is that you do not have to come down to DOB anymore, and you can file once you have internet at your convenience. We have 4 modules currently in DOB Now. We have DOB Now Build, licensing, safety, and inspections. In this presentation, we will be focusing on DOB Now Build, where we create and submit job filings, pull and renew permits, request AHVs, and so forth. We have 2 portals. So let's say I head to nyc.gov/DOB-Now. We have the public portal on the left and the industry portal. Once you have successfully registered for e-filing, you would log in there. The public portal, on the other hand, you do not need a username or password to log in. Once you have internet, you'll be able to search for job filings by address, bin, borrow, block, lot, and device, and I'll do that at the end of our session. You see me do that, and you can see anything about a job filing except the contact information and the plans or sketches. So what are the biggest features and benefits of using DOB Now? I said you could submit your job filing at 24/7. You don't need to come down to DOB anymore. You'll have real-time job filing information access. Because at the top of each job filing, there's a status bar, you'd be able to see where your job filing is at each step of the way. Anyone associated to the job filing could do that. And then with all of this being digitalized, we're hoping for faster processing time for our job filings. Who uses it? So we have the applicant of record, which is like the master key holder of DOB Now job filings, which includes registered architects, professional engineers, and so forth. Then we have inspectors, special and progress inspectors, and other stakeholders such as property owners and filing reps. All of these roles must be registered in e-filing in order to log in and be associated to a job filing, and they will do that by going to nyc.gov/DOB e-filing, and where I have that red box there is where they would click the link in order to log in and file. Now, the process is a bit different for owners versus the other stakeholders. Owners, they complete the registration form, click the verification link, and they receive a confirmation from DOB. The other stakeholders, they do that as well, but they'll need to print that form, sign, date, and seal the form, submit it in person or via mail to these 2 addresses that I have here, and then they'll receive a confirmation from DOB in order to log in and create their job filings. So again, the public portal is on the left, And then on the right, we have the industry portal where you would log in once you're successfully registered in e-filing. At the bottom of that very screen, nyc.gov/DOB now, there are the resources and FAQs for each module. So you can get familiar with that there. And we also have a shortcut to BIS in case you have any related filings over in BIS as well. So before I do the video of me actually logging in, throughout the presentation, I'll be using some common lingo. Where I have number one, I call those action buttons because they're like quick. They start off quick requests or actions. Number two are tabs going across that dashboard there. And when I say columns, I'm talking about these columns, like where I have number three. Within the job filing, there are also some key terms I always use. The status bar is there by number one. We have tabs at the side, which are now all of your paper forms. They're now tabs in the job filing. We have a red asterisk that tells you when a field is required. Number five, I have grayed out fields which populate from e-filing or BIS, or it's read-only. And number four, again, we have required fields. So now I would do a video of me actually logging into the system so I can show you how that works. All right. So because these videos are out on YouTube, I also put in these reminder slides of the guidelines that we use. So on the left here is the public portal, and on the right is where you would log in. Now you'll have DOB Now Build on the left and DOB Now Safety on the right, consisting of boiler, elevator, and facades. But today we're going to use DOB Now Build. So now once I log in, I'll come to my dashboard where my name, email address, my need help and sign out link is at the top. And then across are my action buttons I was speaking about before. Your plus job filing is the most frequently used button you'll use, and then home will always take you back to this page. Below that are your tabs. Your My Job tab is the first tab you'll always see when you log in, and all of the filings that you've created or the job filings that you're associated to will be here. The other tabs are filtered by the name of the tab. So my work permits will be within the My Work Permit section. My AH3 will be within my AH3 tab section. My LOC request and so forth. You can also search for a job number by using the job number search tab. Let's say if you have too many job filings up front, and you see all of your associated job filings like subsequents and PAs, which will have the same job number. I will explain why later on. Back on your My Jobs tab, you'll be able to filter by work type as well, as you see here. And just remember to clear your filter because you may be only viewing filings belonging to a particular work type. Here I'm going to click Mechanical Systems, and also those columns are also filterable. You'd be able to filter by status if you like. And then you could also scroll across for each file to see the filing action available. So here I had PA and work permit. Another one I was able to create a subsequent there as well. So now I'm going to create a mechanical systems job filing. I'll click plus job filing. And then a list of available work types that are available in DOB Now Build will come up. Now you could multi-select some of them. You could do construction, fence, sidewalk, shed, and scaffold together, or plumbing, sprinkler, standpipe together. However, all of the other work types, you have to do them singly, and then you could add on another work type as a subsequent job filing, which I'll explain in a bit. So here I selected antenna, and notice I couldn't select anything else. So I did construction, fence, sidewalk, shed, and scaffold here, and I click submit. However, in this example, I'm going to do mechanical to create this job filing. So now my page refreshes, and all of those paper forms that you guys would have probably filed are now tabs on the left here. So no more paper TRs and whatnot. All of those sections from on those paper forms are now collapsible headers on the page. So here, my location information. So later on, what I would do, I would actually complete a mechanical systems job filing. However, I just wanted to set the tone here of what it looks like so you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about in the upcoming slides. All right, so let's go back to our PowerPoint and continue with some mechanical systems guidelines. All right, so earlier on I said I would help you understand what's staying in biz versus what's going in DOB Now Build. Now, because we don't have everything available in DOB Now Build today, especially general construction, what I did here, I built a process flow to help you understand what's staying in biz and the options you have for filing everything in DOB Now. So I have a scenario A here, which is a new building or alteration 1 type job filing for 1 and 2 family homes. Now, if it's the same applicant of record, you have 2 options. You could file in biz as general construction and put the MSST details on your plans. Or you could file the GC in biz and then you could do mechanical and structural details in DOB Now Build. If it's not the same applicant of record, also for 3 family and other, you have to do the new the general construction in biz for new buildings and the mechanical and structural job filings in DOB Now Build. So the difference there is really if it's the same or not the same applicant of record, and if it's 1 and 2 family homes or 3 family and other. All right. Now, if you did decide to file the GC in biz and the MSST in DOB Now Build, you would see some fields when you get into the system under additional information. Keep in mind these fields that I have here in the red box, it only shows up after the first save. So once you get your job filing number, you head back into the PW1 and go to this section here, additional information, and you would see a field titled related biz or DOB Now job numbers, and you'd enter those job numbers for your additional job filings there. You could separate multiple with a semicolon, and that's how you could keep it together. In my other sessions, people usually ask me if you'll get the same plan examiner. We do our best to try to help you out, so we will try to keep that in mind. All right, so I have another example here of a process flow to help you understand what I meant by subsequent job filings. It's one of our biggest benefits in DOB Now Build, where you're able to keep your job filings all together once you have the same location. So let's say I have a bin 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to file in biz, a minor alteration. So I went to DOB Now Build, and I clicked plus job filing, and then I selected plumbing and sprinkler. Notice in red here, I have a job number, and at the end it says I1. Now this means this is my initial job filing, it's my parent job filing. I will always only have 1 of this job filing. However, I still receive 2 work permits, 1 for plumbing and 1 for sprinkler. A few days later, I decided to do some minor revisions to that plumbing job filing. I did a PAA. Now look at something, my job filing number didn't change, but the ending changed to P1. So this is how I said you could keep it together. So once you search, you would see the parent job filing and the PAA as well. A few days later, I decided to do some mechanical work. I added on a subsequent job filing. I could do different owner, I could do different contractor. Everything could be new and different except the location. Notice again, my job filing number didn't change, but now at the end it says S1 to represent that this is my subsequent job filing, first one. Few days later, let's say I decided to lay some concrete. I did a structural job filing, and my job filing number again did not change, but the ending now says S2. So now when I search for M00123, I would get my initial PAA and subsequent showing up in the search results, and I could be able to look at anyone there for those job filings. Again, just to touch on what I said in the video, you could also do plumbing, sprinkler, standpipe on your initial, and you could do supported scaffold, shed, and fence. Now, there are some guidelines around subsequent, whereas you could only add on a subsequent after the initial job filing has been approved. And I know it doesn't work like that today on paper. However, this is how it works in DOB Now Build, so just bear with us. However, if you do not want to wait until the initial is approved, you could do it separately, and then you could use the same fields that I showed you earlier on to keep those job filings together. So if you did it separately, you could use the second box here related to DOB Now numbers, and you could add that second job there if you didn't want to wait. All right, but we was just trying to show you how you could keep all of your job filings together in DOB Now once you have the same location. So what I just went over there was describing DOB Now. I spoke about the foundation and what we're trying to achieve. I spoke about the modules, build, safety, inspections, licensing, the features and benefits of using DOB Now. I logged in and I accessed the industry portal, and I just explained the filing structure there with initials, PAs, and subsequents. I will go into PAs more later on in the session to talk about some of the guidelines for that there. All right, so now let's get into mechanical systems and the gist of how this works. So I'm going to discuss again what you're doing on paper versus what you started doing as of July 1st. We're going to go over the two filing review types. I'm actually going to submit a mechanical systems job filing. I'm going to show you what the COC looks like now, make corrections, or there are changes, how you could do that, how you could respond to objections or schedule appointments, view, print, and renew work permits. Actually, we could also request L2s for job filings that have been created in the system as of July 1st. If you stay with me, I would get to PAAs, subsequents, AHVs, requesting LOCs, and then we'd also, again, I'd remind you where you could get these materials online and see the FAQs and whatnot at the end. There are some paper forms that are not built into DOB Now Build as yet, and I would show you where you would submit those forms. That's like the AI1 withdrawals and supersedes. It's not in DOB Now Build as yet, so I will show you where you would submit those forms at the end of this session as well. All right, so what you did before versus what you will be doing in DOB Now Build now for mechanical systems. So before, if you had any type of work like heating systems, ventilation systems, if you had any one of those as your proposed scope of work, you would have selected MH on that paper PW1 and you would have submitted it to DOB. However, now it's going to be called something totally different, and I would show you that in a few. So you would have checked off MH here, so that's no more. Now, like I did in that video that I did before, you're going to click plus job filing, select mechanical systems, and then click submit. Later on is when you'll identify those components that within your scope of work. So again, once you tell the system you're doing mechanical systems, later on when you get into the system, you'll then be able to select or multi-select your mechanical work being proposed when you get further in. So that paper PW1 form that you previously used is now a tab within the system. No more paper. You don't have to worry about if you're forgetting to do something or forgetting to provide a document, because the system will ask you for the required fields based on your data entry. So just by you even checking mechanical systems, when you get to this page here that I have in the screenshot, you won't see a question about which type of boiler you're installing or how much concrete you're laying, because you already told the system you're doing mechanical systems. So unlike that paper you had before and you wasn't sure if you need to answer a question, the system will actually take away the questions that you don't need, or the inspections you don't need, or the documents you don't need to upload based on your data entry. So you kind of guide the system to help you submit your job filing as well. So talking about paper, your paper PW form is also going away. This is the paper you currently use. Now that's now within the system, and we kind of split that paper into two pieces. You're identifying the machinery in the PW1 tab there, and then you're adding the details and telling us if you need a CUC right within the job filing. It's no longer at the end of an inspection. You don't have to come down to DOB anymore. You don't have to sign this paper anymore. It's now within a DOB Now build job filing. And as I get further into the deck, I'll explain the guidelines and the rules around using completing this section. So your paper TR1 is also going away. It's now within a job filing as well. You don't have to worry about submitting this paper anymore. Inspectors will just log in, head to this tab, and they would electronically attest. So this is not being uploaded anymore. The system will also display the required inspections that you need to do based on the information you've provided. You cannot delete these inspections or waive these inspections, because based on the data you've entered in those previous tabs, they're like the PW1, zoning information, etc. The system will determine the inspections that you need to do. Also, so this is what it looks like. So here I did mechanical systems. So the system told me I need to do a mechanical system special inspection and a final progress inspection. I cannot delete this or waive this or defer this. However, I could add inspections if I need to by clicking that plus add button there. Now, because there are some guidelines around mandatory technical report sections, I did this table here. You could print it and keep it nearby to understand the inspections that are mandatory. The ones with the red asterisk mean once you say that you need a COC from within the job filing, the system would display these inspections to be completed in that TR section. TR8. So TR8 is also digitalized now. It's within the job filing. You could waive the TR8 though. When you get to the NYECC compliance, you'd be able to see if no TR8 inspections are mandatory, and you would see that when I actually do the demo. So again, that paper TR8 is now within the technical report section. It's no longer uploaded or submitted anywhere. It's within the job filing itself. Again, this one here, I did heating systems, that is my example, and I was able to see all of the available inspections based on what I've entered. This is what the system told me I needed to get done. So in summary, all of the paper forms that you would have loaded to BIS or e-filing are now within the system. Now, where do these additional supporting documents go or required documents go along with those forms that you used to submit? There's a document sections within the job filing, and the system again will tell you the documents that you need to provide based on the data you've entered. So where I have number 3, that's where you would see the required documents that were automated. However, if you see the need to provide an additional supporting piece of document, you would do that where number 2 is. And I will show you that during my demo. So I said you can waive or defer inspections or delete them. However, the system allows you to waive or defer certain documents. If you can, you'll see it in that select action column there. You may have to scroll to the right depending on the size of your screen. For some documents, you cannot waive or defer, so you would see it grayed out and you won't be able to click on it. Some documents you may also see both options, but the system will tell you which ones you could either waive or defer or do both on. So for this example here, I could have only done a waiver, so you're seeing request waiver here. Throughout the system, the DPL1 form is required. So that's the only paper for now you're going to keep nearby, like on your desktop. When you print that form and get it signed and sealed and you date it, it's valid for a year from the date on it. So you keep that on your desktop, and every time you see a role within the system and it asks you for that seal of signature, you would upload it there. It's also in the technical report section where the inspectors take responsibility. It's also found in the document section of the work permit for contractors as well. Again, you don't have to worry about missing or looking for these fields, because if you do forget something and you try to file as the applicant, the system will tell you, hey, the contractor didn't upload their seal and signature, and then you would head to the work permit section. It also shows up just as if you are completing any other form online with red boxes or exclamation marks. You will see those highlights there if you left out something. We sent out a couple service notices a couple months back on plan submissions and guidelines around how you set those up. So where I have this red box, we're suggesting that you put we're recommending that you put the DOB now job number there, sorry. And these are some other guidelines that you should follow as well. So again, all of the paper forms that you've submitted is now within a DOB now job filing for mechanical systems, and you're now paying all of those fees online. Roles and responsibilities. So roles and responsibilities. So within a mechanical systems job filings, there are different stakeholders, and what I'm going to do in the next few slides is talk about each role and what they can and cannot do. So we have the applicant of record, which is a PE, RA, or licensee. That applicant of record could assign up to 2 delegated associates, which is a filing rep class 2, professional engineer, or registered architect. Then we have the owner, filing rep class 1, or preparer, and then the special and progress inspectors. So what I did on the left, I have all of the actions that the role could do, and then on the right, I have the key responsibilities or the things that people were confused about from in our prior sessions, and we cleared that up on the box on the right. So the applicant of record, again, is like the master key holder. They could do anything and everything, and they're the only ones allowed to upload the signed and sealed DPL-1 form, submit the job filing and PAs to DOB. So only they could upload their DPL-1 form. I said there could be 2 associated delegates or delegated associates, and they're usually filing reps class 2, a PE or RA, and they could do everything the applicant of record could do except what the applicant of record could do, which I said was upload the DPL-1 form, complete attestations, and submit the job filings to DOB. The owner, once signed before, it used to uncheck or erase once there was a change. Now the owner is only signing once, and then also the owner may now assign a representative to act on their behalf, and you could get help with that by visiting a kiosk at DOB. There are over 18 existing work types in DOB Now Build, and we have over 10,000 registered owners successfully getting help with this. In case you're wondering about that 93-year-old owner who doesn't know how to use a computer, they're getting the hang of it by getting help and following these guidelines. And then we have the filing rep class 1, which could also complete data entry, resolve objections. They could schedule and attend meetings, however, they just can't attend meetings solely. They cannot upload the applicant of records DPL-1 form, complete statements and signatures, or submit the job filing to DOB. Then we have the special and progress inspectors, and they go to the technical report tab and they take responsibility, and then they upload their DPL-1 form. So you'll see me do that when I create my job filing. And before I do so, I'm going to go over some guidelines around the job filing process and the different types. So at a high level, once you successfully registered for e-filing, you would log into the industry portal. You would create your mechanical systems job filing, enter all the details, upload those documents. Everyone associated to the job filing, they sign, you pay if applicable, and then you hit preview to file, which is like a bird's eye summary of the job filing details before you actually submit it to DOB. There are some new identification numbers if you haven't used DOB now as yet, and it's a job filing number. The abbreviation at the top represents the borough. Pay attention that X is for Bronx and B is for Brooklyn. We have the job filing number, which is I1, S1, or P1. And then we have the new abbreviation MS at the end of the work permit. And it's a combination of the other two components there. So for each filing review type, there are different stages within the status bar. So it reflects on the status bar for each filing review type. So for standard plan, you have pending Prof Cert QA, Prof Cert QA review, and so forth. In this screenshot here, I use Prof Cert, so that's what you're seeing. But if it were standard plan, you would see something else. For each step of the way, everyone associated to the job filing receives an email, and it looks like this. So let's talk about the PW4 and the guidelines around the new compliance. So before, you would have come down to DOB at the end of our inspection to receive the permit. However, now within the job filing, you're going to indicate whether or not you need that COC. And once issued, that COC will be able to be printed from the public portal without even logging in, and from within the job filing as well. There's no need to visit DOB anymore in person. So again, that paper PW4, I said it's broken up into two pieces within the PW1 section, and then the other piece where you identify the equipment is in the scope of work section. There's no need to sign for it anymore. You just, as the applicant of record and the owner, you just sign where it says statements and signatures in that last tab for the overall job filing. So again, when you get to the scope of work section, you'll see equipment specification table, and then in order to add the mechanical equipment to that table, you will click plus add, and I would show you how it's done when I'm actually doing the demo as well. So here, what I did on the PW1 tab, I selected that I was going to add a cooling tower and ventilation system as my proposed scope of work. So when I got to the scope of work section, where I have number 1 here, those were the options available in my subcategories. And then I would have completed the required fields, and then there's a question within that window: is a certificate of compliance needed? I would have selected yes or no, and it would have ended up on the equipment specification table once I click save. Now, I know you won't have all the information necessary about that device until you actually have it. So the manufacturer name, model name, and certification number for listing are not required until sign off. So you could provide all of the fields where it has the red asterisk, and you could provide the other 3 fields later on. So I put together a little process flow here to help you understand how it works. You're going to select mechanical systems when you see the available work types. You're going to complete all of the forms. Everyone signs. You submit it to DOB. You get your work permit. By then, you should probably have the machine or the device, so you complete the other fields. Once inspection is done, that table becomes read-only, and you could then print your COC once it's issued. Again, whatever you add, you'll see it listed here. If you said no, that you do not need a COC, the system just keeps the information stored there, and anyone associated to the job filing can view those details. So it looks something like this now, and issued on date is up there on the right, and it's the date of the inspection. And anyone, again, as I say, could print this. However, keep in mind, if you do make a change to that table, remember to reprint that COC, because it won't update for itself after you print it. So you'll have to take that one down and then reprint and replace it. Just a reminder about final inspections. The inspectors, they would log in to the technical report tab, and they will attest and take responsibility by simply checking a box No more paper TR is needed. And then they'll upload the TPL1 form where I have that red box there. The system displays certain fields at different points in time. And here you would see that the final inspection for the mechanical systems job filing, the page refreshes within the technical report section to provide a checkbox for the final inspection. So the inspector would then log back in and check that box. Let's talk now about the two filing review types. And the difference between standard plan and profit is you can do the work permit either before or after the job is approved for profit, and for standard plan, you have to wait until the job filing is approved in order to submit the work permit. So now I'm actually going to flip to the system again and recap how you start creating a mechanical systems job filing. I'm going to include that CUC, and then we'll talk about printing at the end. All right, so because again, I have a DOB tutorial up on the YouTube channel, I've also inserted some slides that I discussed before for folks who didn't join us here. So I'll just skip through those slides. And begin from on the dashboard. So let's see. I'm going to fast forward a bit here because this is already available out there. And okay. So let me maximize this so it can become a little bigger. All right. So you're going to click plus job filing and select mechanical. And then submit. And then once you click submit, again, the job filing displays. All of those paper forms are now tabs on the left, like I said. And the sections are now collapsible headers. So I'm going to begin by entering my location. I'm going to put 110 Maple Parkway, Staten Island. I'm entering my block and lot, and again, remember the red asterisks are required and the grayed out fields are auto-populated or read only. So I'm only doing the required fields. For work on floors, I click plus add, I select my location. Depending on the location, the description of location is required. This one, it's not required. So I'm just typing any old thing in here. Clicking add, I could delete or edit or add more work on floors if needed. And that checkbox at the top tells me that that section is completed. So now I'm going to move on to stakeholders. Now, when you enter the email address for the stakeholder, you must click that email address from the blue drop down. It's pulling from e-filing what that email address is registered as to help populate the other grayed out fields. So look at this. When I click the email, you'll see the first name and last name gets populated. And then for license type, same thing. You'd see the license number when I select gets populated. Same rule applies when I select the business name. All right, so I'm moving on to owner information, and the same rule applies. Every time you enter email address, you must select it from the blue drop down. If the blue drop down is not coming up, it's because that person isn't registered in e-filing or something's wrong with their e-filing and they need to get that clarified. Now, if you see the email address and you got it in the blue drop down, but the license type isn't available, there's still something wrong with their e-filing that they need to get cleared up. So they need to contact that unit there to see about that. So I'm not adding a filing wrap because it's not required. Checkbox is there, moving on. Filing review type. And here you would begin to see how the system could take you down a rabbit hole of questions based on how you answer. So here I got more questions to legalization. But I'm going to say new work, select the filing review type as prof cert. And then I can't change my work type at this point. If I want to do antenna, I need to discard this and start over. I can multi-select my scope. I'm going to do heating and ventilation systems. My checkbox appears, and I'm going to do move on to additional information. I enter my job cost. Now, right below here are those fields that I told you about with related biz or DOB now job numbers. So if you decided to file separately, you would tag those jobs here. You would see it after your first save. So after you'd save and you get your job number and you come back here, then you'd enter those numbers. For me, it's a bit different because I'm using a fake environment. So you select your year, and here pretty much I'm going to say no. These fields are grayed out because the system already knew the answer, or it's not required for this type of filing. So just move on if you see uneditable fields. And here I'm just trying to show you that the system guides you. Based on your answers, you'll see more questions sometimes. So here again, I'm just saying no. NYECC compliance, this is where I said you could waive your TR8 by just checking this checkbox here. So if you check the box, you won't see the TR8 populate. I'm not going to check the box so you can see on the left, once I click save here, the TR8 tab will appear. Job description. I'm typing anything again. And then I'm moving on to site characteristics. Again, some fields are grayed out because the system is either auto-populating it or it's not required. For asbestos abatement compliance, I'm seeing exempt. And then comments are not required, but this is where you would enter also your PAA comments when you're doing a PAA. So now I'm gonna hit save, and you'll see that my status bar will appear and my job filing number. You cannot change your location, information, or filing review type once you save. So now at the top, now you're seeing the status bar with the filing review type stages. On the right, my fees and whatnot started to build out. I selected NYCHA, so you see 0 there, and the job filing number is now there, and it says I1 because this is my initial job filing. So zoning information is now out of the PW1. We have existing in the middle there and proposed on the outside. So I'm just selecting anything here just to show you like how it works. So I'm just clicking anything here. Multiple dwelling classification, building type. And I really didn't know the familiar data you guys use, so I was just typing anything here, which I probably know is ridiculous. And then I'm going to hit save as a best practice at the end of each section. So now I'm on my scope of work, which would have been your paper PW4. It's now like this. You'll click add now to start identifying the type of equipment. So remember, I selected heating and ventilation system. So now that would be the available subcategories here. So I'll do heating first. And I'm going to enter all the required fields. And here is where you would tell us if you need a certificate of compliance. So now it's within the job filing. It's not at the end of an inspection. You don't have to come down to DOB anymore. You don't have to provide the manufacturer name, model name, and certification number for listing at the time of filing. So here I'm just going through it. Capacity units, equipment efficiency, sorry, equipment units, and I'm just typing the details here, but as you see, the red asterisk is not required. So I'll say yes, I want a CSC, so you can see how it looks in the end. And now I'm going to do one for ventilation system. So if you have more than one heating systems, you could do another one, but I'm just doing one heating system and one ventilation systems. I'm going a little faster because I just did it. So I'm just adding another one. I'm going to say yes again and click add. At the bottom of this table, so you could edit and delete these device information here if you need to, and add more. At the bottom of the screen, you'd put the total sum for each device. And all of this should look familiar from off of your PW4 form. Cost affidavit. This PW3 form is also now within a job filing. No need for paper anymore. You click add, and then the system does the math for you. Remember to match your estimated job cost, because the system won't allow you to file unless these numbers are equal. So I had 10,000 as my estimated job cost. I did 2 by 5 there, and I put my description, and I'm going to click save. If you have to build this out a different way, you would see when I click save, you can hit add again in order to add more details if needed. All right. So again, I'm heading on to the technical report section and start with the TR1. So based off my scope of work, the system tells me I need to do a heating system, mechanical and smoke control inspection for special, and then progress, I have a few inspections down there as well. So I cannot waive these, I cannot defer these, I don't need to submit any paper forms. The only thing I'm uploading here is my TPL1 form, which is valid for a year from the date on it. So keep it on your desktop as a shortcut. And every time you see your role, you would upload that DPL1 form with what it's required. The inspectors, they will click edit and they would complete this section. However, you can also enter the email address of the inspector. The same rule applies with click selecting the email from the blue drop down. If you're adding the, I'm in as the applicant and I'm adding the email address. What this will do is help it show up on the dashboard of that inspector when they log in. It would be on their dashboard. Or you could give them the job number and they could add themselves as well. You enter the agency number, the system is doing a check for that. And once successful, you just hit save to lock in these details. You cannot sign on their behalf. So here I'm entering the agency number. Well, as you see there, I couldn't sign. So I click update. And I'm going to repeat those steps for all of the inspections. So I'm going to go a little bit faster. And I'm going to skip forward till both of them are complete. So I'm just gonna go a little faster and move on to the TR8. So for the TR8, same rule applies. Whatever you've entered, the system will provide these inspections for you. You cannot delete this or waive this. So here I'm just going a little bit faster. Click save and move on to documents. So these are my required documents. The system says that I need to upload. It tells me if it's required, and it tells me when these documents need to be uploaded. If you have additional supporting information, this is how you would upload those. But we're going to do required documents for now. I cannot waive or defer any of these, so the action column is grayed out. So now I'm just going to look for my documents and upload them. Don't upload a picture of your dog or your cat because you would get objections or QA failed. So ensure you're uploading the correct document. And once uploaded, the status changes to pending, and once it's approved, you'd see all of those required statuses change to approved. So I'm just repeating the steps here for each document. And then I'll move on to statements and signatures. So I'm not going to do a work permit because I already have a video out there on how to do work permits. Because I'm doing ProfCert, I have the option to add a work permit right now. But I'm just going to head on to statements and signatures, where the applicant of record is going to sign by simply checking a box. No more paper. So I'm just going to show that. Read all your statements and signatures. I'm sorry, statements, and then you sign by simply checking the box. And then the owner also has some sections with some questions within their section that the applicant can answer on their behalf. The owner would verify that these answers are correct before they attest. So you can attest for them. So save again as best practice. And what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to pretend to pay. I suggest you pay now in the job filing because every tab is now completed and the fees are correct at this point. So I'm actually going to pretend to pay. So I'm going to click the pay now button. The system will give you a preview to what the amount is, and it will take you to CityPay where you could pay via e-check or credit card. So I'm just going to pretend to do that before I switch over as the inspector and owner to complete the job filing. All right, so now I'm going to log in as the special or progress inspector. I use the same email address, so I'm going to attest to all of the inspections within the job filing. So you see there, it's on my dashboard. I could also use the job number search if I didn't have the job number, but it's right at the top, so I'll just double click from here. And I'm able to head to the technical report section. However, as a good to know, let me just rewind there a little bit. You can click the view filing button in order to see a PDF version instead of going through each tab, and you could check out the details of the inspection here. So this is just a good tip if you're trying to see what everyone entered, or if you just want to do a quick check. So I'm going to head to the technical report and select my role, which is both special and progress inspector. And you're going to see me take responsibility electronically for all inspections. And then I would upload my DPL1 form. So here you see me uploading my form. For each one, I'm going to repeat. So I'll just fast forward a little bit. It's pretty much the same thing I'm doing over and over again. Same thing applies to TR8. You select your role and then you complete the statements and signatures. So that's all the special and progress inspector are doing. So now I'm going to go in as the owner and I'm going to head to the statements and signatures section to attest. And here I'm going to show you an example of how you could use the job number search. So I'm typing in the job number and I'm going to select it from the results. Again, you could click view filing to see the overall job filing. I'm going to head to owner and make sure those questions are right, and then I simply check this box and click save. Now the owner could call the applicant, hey, I'm done, it's ready to send off to DOB. So now I'm going back in now as the applicant of record. So I'm back in and I hit preview to file. You would only get to this page once everything is good to go with your job filing. If not, it would have highlighted in red everything that was missing for you. So I'm going to click through each one of these pages until I come to a final attestation, which will allow me to file to DOB. So you can't skip forward, so I'm just clicking next here until I get to the last page. Make sure everything is good to go. At this point, you could still return to the filing and make changes if you see something that's wrong. And now I select this final checkbox and then hit file. Once successful, again, you could always view the job filing in that PDF view. Again, your status bar moves one step ahead to pending pursuit QA or pending plan examiner assignment. Now, at this point, you may realize that a correction has to be made, and you can still make a correction while the filing is in these two statuses, pending plan examiner assignment or pursuit QA review. You'd be able to make a change for free at this point still, but you have to hurry up since it's DOB now and not tomorrow. You have to do it before it gets assigned to a plan examiner. You won't be able to change any of these fields like location and applicant information, filing review type, or the building type or owner's information. And always remember to hit resubmit once you start making a change, because we won't be able to work on your job filing unless you hit resubmit. So from the action column on your job filing, you will click correction. The system will ask you if to proceed, and then you would begin to make your corrections. So I clicked yes here, and it took me to the job filing. Just a gentle reminder again, always click resubmit once you've completed all of your changes. Certain fields will be grayed out or read only, like location information. And the system will really guide you on what could be changed, because you would see the fields that are able to be changed. If not, you'll have to wait until the plan examiner or QA clerk sends back objections or QA field reasons, and then you would be able to make your changes. So again, just a reminder, remember to click resubmit. All right. So back to our PowerPoint. I'm going to talk about how you'll be able to view and print your CUC. So the CUC button to be displayed will be right below the status bar, and you'll be able to see it from within the job filing or out on the public portal, and I will show you that at the end of the session. The inspection date will be the issue date on the certificate of compliance, and in this example you would see all the devices that I added. The information for it is listed here because I said yes when I was completing the job filing. So I'm going to just do a quick video here on how that's done. And all these videos are also out on YouTube. Under the same DOB Now channel, you'd be able to replay this by itself with narration as well. So I'm going to skip forward through these reminder slides. These are just for the folks that didn't join us for the entire presentation. So I'm just going over the guidelines before I actually go to the dashboard. So I'm going to reopen the job filing and show you what it looks like. So it says permit entire there. It's now right there, print certificate of compliance. Once I click that, this browser I used was Google Chrome. It pops up like this. And the two devices that I did, heating and ventilation, when I stage that file, it shows up like this. All right, so you click print, and depending on the browser you use, you'd follow the prompts in order to get it printed. So that's this. And let's head back to the PowerPoint to just talk about some overall guidelines within the system. So we spoke about corrections. I'm going to move on to responding to objections and QA failure reasons, and scheduling appointments with a plan examiner. All right, so let's do QA failure first, and then I would discuss plan examiner objections. So if you received a QA failure from a clerk, you will see the comments in the trace history, and you would identify that first by you'd see a red exclamation mark appear in your status bar, or if you're out on your dashboard, you'll see objections or QA failed from on the dashboard in the status column. So you would get into the job filing, and you would go to history, then select trace history, where I have this here, and you will then see a subway stop like in a pop-up window with the comments provided at the stage. Depending on the filing review type, you would see it differently. So if you had objections, you'll see it in the plan examiner review, but the exclamation mark pretty much shows up the same way. Some of the reasons why you would get an objection or QA failure is because like plans are not in accordance with the code, you submitted a CAT instead of the plans, or you just probably made a typo, so you need to redo your data entry. Now for objections, it's a bit different. It shows up like a tab with below the scope of work section there, And then you have the option to schedule an appointment with a plan examiner. Now, this appointment button where I have number 2 may be disabled because the plan examiner may not want to see you. And unfortunately, if you still want to see them, you'll have to do a PER 11, which is not in DOB Now built. You would do that as you would do on paper today. However, if the button is enabled, you'll click plus appointment and then select your date and 20-minute slot. Prior to the meeting, that email address that you used will receive an email with that GoToMeeting link for the meeting. So I'm not going to demo that, so I did a process flow to help you understand the steps. In doing so, you locate the filing, like I said, open it for QA fail, you go to trace history, you scroll down to the bottom of that screen, you'll see the QA failed reason, and you will change it to resolved. Once resolved, make your changes and click resubmit. If there's objections, again, I showed you where you would schedule an appointment, or you could resolve the objection and then resubmit it to DOB. Work permits. So when I was creating the mechanical systems job filing, I showed you where the work permit would have been added. And you could print that work permit from within the job filing as well. It pops up like this here. Or you could print it from on the public portal or from out on your dashboard from the My Work Permits tab. I have a little process flow here to also show the new abbreviations at the end of the work permit and how it looks. So here I did plumbing, sprinkler, standpipe as my initial job filing. I received 3 separate permits. Those permits ended in PL, SP, SD. I did an antenna as a subsequent. My permit has S1AN because it's my first subsequent and it's an antenna work type. And then I added on mechanical and structural, and you could see my work permits, they both have S2, S3, and MSSC at the end. My job filing number, however, did not change. Just some guidelines around permit expiry dates. So it doesn't expire, and it expires based on the earliest date of any of these 3 criteria here. And we are also now offering automatic extensions for the permits that will be expired less than 1 year from the date of issuance. If you get the renewal information to us at least 5 days in advance, we will renew this at no cost. So when you renew a work permit, the work permit number does not change. You're able to go to your work permits tab and you would see, like, let's look at the last one in the screenshot here. I renewed that plumbing work permit 4 times. So you would see the sequence number of that work permit to keep track of that. So while we talked about work permits, let's go to AHVs. All right, so an AHV can be requested on a job filing that has been approved and it has the work permit already issued. You need an AHV permit if you're doing work before 7 a.m., after 6 p.m., or on the weekend. However, it could only be requested by the licensed master plumber, fire suppression contractor, or the general contractor that was unlisted on the initial permit. We're also asking that you submit these AHV requests at least 2 days before the first intended workday. I have a scenario here to help you understand how you need to keep your AHV specific to the scope. So meet Carl. His job filing includes general construction, mechanical, systems, structural, and plumbing. So he has 4 initial work permits. And he needs to do some work 2 days from now, let's not say tonight, consisting of mechanical and plumbing. What should Carl do? He requests 2 separate AHV permits, one for mechanical and one for plumbing. And then again, I have a reminder that the AHV permit must be related to the scope of work of the specific work permit. Just to clarify how that's done, you would request the AHV. Once it gets approved, you will then head to your My AHV tab and then scroll across to print AHV permit. You pay all those fees and all of that online, and once it's approved, you would print it from within the My AHV Work Permits tab. Because I didn't have a demo, I did a process flow, so you could look at that just to understand how you do everything all together. So L2s. So now, as of July 1st, for job filings that were created in the system from that date, you can now scroll to that same select action column and request an L2. Now, there are a few guidelines in the upcoming slides that I have, but I'll just talk about the key points. So you can request a L2 once there's a work without permit violation on the bin. So when you attempt to get a work permit, you may see a notification that it has a a work without permit violation. You would then head back to your dashboard and click Request L2. In DOB now, you cannot pay for those L2s within the system, so you'd still continue to pay for that L2 as you will today, even though you would have requested the L2 from within the system. We do not accept codes for LEG, SWBC, SWOE within the system. And remember, if you had created a file in the system before July 1st, you won't be able to request a L2 on that file from within the select action column. You'll continue to do that as you would have done on paper. It's only for filings that you started created in the system from July 1st. So you locate the file, initiate L2, enter the required details. You'd pay by to DOB in person, and then you would submit your work permit once approved after that. Let's talk about PAAs. So PAAs hasn't changed, it's just how you do it has changed. None of the fees or anything like that didn't change. So only one PAA could be in progress at a time. The PAA could only be filed by an applicant of record. It must be filed by the same applicant of record as the original filing. And when I was doing the demo, I told you that the comments must be entered in that last section of the PW1. I have a little cartoon here as well to help explain that you could do multiple PAAs within job filings. So here I have my initial job filing. I did a PAA on that. It said P1. The job filing number didn't change. Once that was approved, I did a subsequent, and I did 2 PAAs onto that. And then I did a second subsequent, and I did another PAA onto that. So there are some fields that are not editable, and the system will guide you. And here I have a list of those fields. If you're trying to determine if you need to do a PAA or AI1, the plan examiner will help you with deciding which route you're going. AI1s, however, are still outside of the system, and you will submit that form to nyc.gov/GOB help, and I will show you where that link is at the end of this session. It's still $100, and if there's a change in your fees and it's an increase, you could pay that online. If it's a refund you need, you could click this link here to get the form, and you would submit that to that same help as you do today. So you locate the file, you go to that same select action column, and you would select initiate PAA. Subsequent. So just to recap again on subsequent, remember you could add it to initial job filing after it has a status of approved, but before the initial job is signed off, you won't be able to add anything. So once the initial has been approved, you could add how many subsequents you like, and you would do so before the initial has been signed off. So I have a little video here to show you how that's done. And just to recap, you could group plumbing, sprinkler, standpipe together, or scaffold, shed, and fence. All of the available work types other than those must be filed separately. So I'm going to play that video now for you. And again, this video is out on YouTube, so I included some slides around the guidelines. And we're going to go from our dashboard and locate the initial job filing. So my initial in this example is a plumbing job filing. I'm going to look for the job number. And when I open it, you'll see that my work permit says PL for this plumbing job filing. And now I'm going to add on a subsequent to that initial job filing. So I'm going to scroll across and select subsequent filing and click yes to confirm. And now I'm going to select a new work type. So here I'm going to select mechanical, create subsequent, and I could enter new information. Like I said, I can't change the location information fields, but I could add all of the information for this mechanical systems now onto this plumbing job filing. So again, the system would create out that location information field. And there you see where the stakeholders and all of that, the fields are blank because you're just keeping this job filing together. Again, if you do not want to wait, you could file separately, and you could add this new job filing number in the additional information section where I showed you after your first save. You could add a associated job number there. And the numbers will keep going up in sequence as the more subsequents you add, S1, S2, S3, and so forth. Now when you do your search, you would see your initial and now your subsequent, and it identifies by I1 and S1. Let me just move this column across. So you could also identify it there too. Now when I open my subsequent and I get to my work permit, I'm just fast forwarding here, you'd see now that it says mechanical systems at the end of this work permit. So my initial says PL, the subsequent says MS and S1 there. So again, this video is also out on YouTube if you'd like to rewatch that without this entire presentation. Let's talk about LOC before we close. So letter of completion. So you can request an LOC once your final inspections are completed, and it could be requested by the applicant or the property owner. And you could also print this LOC from within the job filing or from out on the public portal. Right when we close, I will show you how that's done. You locate the job filing. You'd ensure that your technical reports are signed off. You'll update your PW3 cost. When you request your LOC, a little pop-up window would occur. You would complete all the following details, and once approved, you'd be able to print it. So let's talk about the forms that are still on paper. So earlier on I mentioned that some forms are still on paper, and I'll explain which ones are. So withdrawal, supersedes, and AI1s are still on paper, and you have access to that by going to nyc.gov/DOB Now Help. I would actually go onto that link so you could see how that works. And you could also access it by clicking here, the shortcut link, and you'll be able to select build. You would do mechanical, you would select supersede or withdrawal, and then your search type, and then you'd upload the form right here, and we have shortcuts to the form at the bottom of the page here. All right, so back to our presentation. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go into the public portal and talk about things you could see from within your job filing. You could see anything about a job filing except the contact information and the plans and sketches. So just a reminder again, this presentation are the short videos, step-by-step guides, and tutorials are available out on these both links. And if you need help with submitting those forms, you would also submit those requests on nyc.gov/GOB help. Again, there are some shortcuts to the resources at the bottom of that mechanical system, at the bottom of nyc.gov/GOB. There are shortcuts for each module. And now I'm going to do a video of me actually going to the public portal and showing you how you could print all of these permits and requests. Okay, so again, I'm going to skip forward over these guidelines and head straight to the public portal. So again, you can search by address, by bin, by borrow, block, and lot, by device or licensee. In this example though, I'll be doing by address. And I'm going to use the same address that I used when I staged that job filing. So I'm going to do 110 Maple Parkway, Staten Island. And click search. When I click search, all of the job filings to that result and the property profile will be displayed. So it's like an updated version of Biz. So if you want to see the latest information about a job filing, you would look here. Your build safety is in blue and safety is in orange. So all of the job filings are listed there. You could also filter it by work type. So it's like a miniature version of that dashboard when you log in into the industry portal. So I did mechanical systems, open the job filing that you saw me process, and you would see that I could print my CUC from within the scope of work tab. So the button was right there, I clicked it, pops up like this. So again, once you have internet access and you don't want to log in, you can view details about your job filing. Work permit, you'll go to the work permit tab of course, and then click print. So it pops up like this. And then you have safety job filings there as well, which I won't get into. So thank you for watching. I'll just recap what we went over before I close. Let me see if I could get. So now you should be able to discuss the key differences between what you did before July 1st and what you start to do for mechanicals as of July 1st. We spoke about the filing review types. We said for Prof Search, you have to do your work permit either before or after. For standard plan, you have to do the work permits after the job filing is approved. I submitted a mechanical systems job filing. I showed how you could view the CUC, make corrections, respond to objections or QA field reasons, requesting AHVs, creating PAAs. You could also request L2s now in DOB now, initiate subsequents, create AHVs. I showed LOCs and how to access all helpful resources. Thank you for watching.